find out when the baby.
Beautiful morning, everybody. Really don't feel like talking this morning, so it'll just mainly be the sounds of the car. bit louder than usual because the door panels are off and this insulation is kind of ripped, but that's because we're wrapping the car. Usually it is complete on the inside, but something that I do like about this car is the ability to function daily. You could literally roll up the windows, turn on the AC, it's freezing, and you've got power steering. So I mean, in terms of drivability, this thing's amazing. The clutch, sometimes you gotta give it some finesse, but that's no big deal. I mean, it's a stage 5 clutch and it's sprung, so that helps a little bit, but I mean, it's nowhere near aggressive as a twin disc, and it's nowhere near as easy as stage 1 or stage 2 or a factory clutch. So I'd say it's the happy medium when pushing this amount of power. It's an action clutch stage 5. So that's the route I decided to go, even though everybody was doubting the action clutch stage 5. They were like, oh, it's gonna slip, the drivability is gonna be trash, just go with the twin disc right away. Mind you, the twin disc clutch is about $1,200 straight off the bat, whereas this stage 5 action clutch is around from $600 to $750 at the time that I bought it. That was back in 2021 or 2020. It was 2020, yeah. The car was still being, the engine was still being built in 2021, and parts, not 2021, 2020, and parts were out of stock due to COVID. And that's the main reason this build took so long. I started it at the beginning or at the end of 2019, and it extended all the way until like 2022, until it was finished and drivable and whatnot. And that's, like I said, because parts were out of stock during COVID and stuff was hard to get. But anyways, like I was saying, this car is very drivable, summer, winter, spring, whatever. The only thing it doesn't have is heater, and that's because the heater hoses are hard to run from the heater core to the heater ports that come out of the thermostat housing and the rest of the engine, the head. So heater's the only thing this thing doesn't have, but here in Texas it never even gets that cold, usually. Sometimes we have pretty aggressive winters where stuff starts freezing up and it is actually pretty cold, but I do have heated seats in this thing and they do work, so that helps a little bit. Heated seats with the jacket, they keep me pretty warm. I've tried it before. So I mean, the AC is freezing, I gotta turn it down. But as of now, the weather is beautiful. It's not too cold, it's not too hot, so I really don't even use the AC much, right now at least. But summers do get pretty aggressive, and I was driving this thing in the summer, and I didn't need to use the AC because windows down is just not enough. Texas, or Houston, is very humid. So let's get back in town. And for now, the car is very squirrely. I don't know if you guys noticed on the freeway, it's like you really gotta put some work to keep this thing straight. And I'm gonna say that's mainly because the tires, because they are directional tires, and this one right here is backwards, and they are pretty worn, so that really doesn't help. First, they spin, and second, they really don't assist with the torque steer. I do have an M factory limited slip on this thing. I thought that would help with the torque steer, but it's still there, but it's nothing crazy. As long as you're not turning while doing a pull, you're fine. As long as you're going straight and you have grip, it's nothing too crazy. Another reason I do have a bunch of torque steer is also because my lower control arm bushings are pretty bad as well. It's a very common thing on these cars where the control arm bushing, oh, cops. Where the control arm bushings like to tear and cause a space and allow for movement in the wheels. And this car being as powerful as it is, and me driving it the way I do, it really puts the wear on those bushings. So as far as getting a stock replacement, that's something I really don't want to do because I know they'll go out literally in months. So one thing I am looking for is an alternative to the stock bushings. Just pull the control arm, swap out the bushings, and call it that. Looking for a polyurethane bushing. I don't want any hard, solid, spherical bushings because those really sacrifice the comfortability of pretty much any car that you put them in. My brother's Integra had spherical bushings. Those were way too stiff. It's like you hit a bump and you just feel it straight in your seat. So that's something that I really don't want to sacrifice in this car. It is already kind of stiff, I guess you could say, from coilovers, but that's just what you get with running coilovers, but it's still very acceptable. The spherical bushings, like I said, it's just an unacceptable amount of stiffness. So I'm just gonna go with some nice polyurethane bushings or some hard rubber bushings. Probably compare the two and see which one is softer and go with that. But as far as getting a stock replacement goes, I'm just gonna do a hard pass on that. So bunch of content coming up, not just POV videos. I'll be doing installs, I'll be doing upgrades, I'll be doing repairs, because with a car like this, you can build it and it's going to be reliable, but you will always come across a thing or two to repair. Like yesterday, out of nowhere, the headlight went out. The pigtail turns out to be loose, so I gotta cut and resolder the pigtail because the pins are loose. So I mean, it's just a bunch of small things here and there. Mind you, it is 2007, so this car is about 18 years old. 18? Yeah, about 18 years old. So you will have issues here and there, and that is content that I do look forward to posting. But for now, the next things we do have lined up are coilovers, wheels and tires, and a big brake kit. So y'all stay tuned for that. But for now, enjoy these POV videos. I just thought I'd share the turbo sounds and the overall driving experience of this car, how it's bipolar, and also all the beautiful sounds this car makes. Tunnel pull. So far we're on stock brakes. They are a bit worn, but the stock brakes perform phenomenally for what this is. They are Accord brakes, so they are bigger than the Civic brakes. And I'd say that's probably the main reason that they perform so well on a platform like this, because although this car is on the heavier side of Hondas, this thing weighs from 31 to 3,200 pounds with, I think total is like, when I weighed it, my brother was with me, I was in the car and I had like a tool bag in there, and it weighed in at like 3,300 pounds or 3,400. And my brother weighs 200, I weighed 180 at the time, and I had that tool bag. So I'd say this car easily weighs 3,000 pounds. And does make good power, and these brakes are enough to hold it back. So, but I do want that extra braking performance because these do heat up pretty quick, and once they do heat up, the rotors pretty much warp and you could really feel the vibration in the steering wheel at higher speeds. So that's why I really want to upgrade these brakes. But here we are. So that'll pretty much conclude this drive. I look forward to posting more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.